In the 1950s, the most famous family in Brookhaven was the Goggles family. Not for their impressive wealth or successful political careers, but because of the superstitious Goggles family curse. It all began when beloved Mayor Jeffrey Goggles' plane was hijacked, leading to one of Brookhaven's biggest unsolved aviation mysteries. 5 years later, Jeffrey Goggles died in a suspicious fire while renewing his driver's license at Town Hall. 2 years after that, his son, Greg Goggles, went out for a drive on his 18th birthday and never returned home. His mother tried to report him missing, but was told that with no evidence of foul play, Greg probably left on his own, and no effort was made to investigate. Francine Goggles was devastated, and the entire town was left to speculate that the family was victim to a mythical curse. As the years turned to decades, the loss didn't get any easier. On August 1st, 1996, Francine Goggles died in her sleep, never knowing what happened to her son. Less than 2 years later, on June 26, 1998, while on an exploratory dive of the Brookhaven wreckage, a dive team discovered a car at the bottom of the Brook Sea. Once pulled from the water, it was confirmed. The car belonged to Greg Goggles, and he was still in it. An accident reconstruction specialist determined that due to the dark and rainy conditions the night he disappeared, Greg Goggles lost control of his car and ultimately, tragically, landed in the Brook Sea. The remains of Greg Goggles were buried alongside his parents in the Brookhaven Cemetery, adding yet another volume to the extensive Goggles family curse lore. In November 2025, life was good in Brookhaven. Runaway gas station and Haven Plaza Mall had just relocated to Cherry Road in hopes of furthering the developed Cherry Road initiative. Meanwhile, yoga instructor Mabel Quarantine traded in her old Jeep for a brand new Cybertruck. She was understandably excited about the high-tech features and capabilities of the new electric automobile, particularly the full self-driving software, enabling the vehicle to steer, brake, accelerate, change lanes, and make turns autonomously. As she left the dealership and drove through town, she activated the feature. The car responded well at first, deftly navigating through traffic, but then something went wrong. The car began to accelerate and veered wildly off course, making turns it wasn't asked to make and playing music it wasn't asked to play. It plowed through farmland, ruining crops. It streaked through town, taking out food stands, bikers, pedestrians, anything in its path. Then it headed toward Cherry Road at an alarming 200 miles per hour. Terrified, Mabel Quarantine had no choice but to leap from the speeding vehicle, watching helplessly as it lost control and, in a cruel twist of irony, plowed directly into the Robbie gas station. The resulting explosion caused massive devastation to the gas station, forcing them to rebuild. But what couldn't be rebuilt were the 7 lives of the gas station customers lost in the tragedy. In December 1978, Brookhaven held its annual Christmas parade, featuring the popular Harley Brothers Jam Band and floats for various local vendors, including dance club Disco Brooks. That year, a record crowd had gathered to celebrate. But within seconds, the event went from festive to frightening, as Bonnie Busduster, the driver of the car carrying Mayor Herman Frankel, got her platform shoe caught on the gas pedal, causing her to inadvertently launch forward into the float in front of her. which caused a chain reaction of cars and floats bumping each other, sending First Lady Edith Frankel into a fire hydrant as the Candles float spun directly into a truck full of hay, igniting a massive blaze. Then, spectators watched in horror as the Disco Brooks float cascaded into a power line pole. The already chaotic scene grew even more so as the panicked people scrambled to evacuate the area. 17 people were hospitalized with life-threatening injuries. 36 more were treated at the scene. The grocery store, hair and nails, and Disco Brooks were total losses. As a result of the tragedy, Mayor Herman Frankel enacted a local law prohibiting parades in Brookhaven. This led to an unfortunate trend of secret parades, leading to more accidents and more devastation. He responded by lifting the parade prohibition in 1982 and creating a parade safety committee to ensure a tragedy like the one in 1978 never happens again. On a lovely spring morning in 2008, Brookhavians were enjoying a typical morning commute, particularly on the heavily trafficked south side of town, where several roads converge inside a tunnel, routing them underneath a newly constructed estate, which a local construction company had just completed after over a year of work. Then, at 8:27 a.m., following a relatively mild earthquake, without warning, the home exploded, causing a collapse that fully blocked all 4 tunnel entrances, trapping many residents inside. While they were initially happy to be alive, they soon realized the dire circumstances they were faced with. Since all entrances were heavily blocked, the oxygen supply was scarce. Not to mention, they were trapped with a truck of leaking toxic chemicals, a hearse transporting a corpse, an officer transporting a dangerous serial killer, and a hot dog truck. And due to the precarious positioning of the rubble, rescue efforts had to be slow and meticulous to avoid an additional, more devastating collapse of the tunnel. The situation was grim. For 6 days, those trapped in the tunnel didn't know if they would live or die. 4 lives were claimed by the serial killer before he became victim to the toxic, suffocating fumes, along with 9 others, just before a small number of oxygen masks were discovered in a box inside the trapped UDS delivery truck, which undoubtedly saved the lives of the 5 who did survive. Known as the Tunnel People, they suffered numerous physical and mental ailments as a result of the intense trauma. After an investigation revealed a multitude of building and electrical code violations as the main cause of the collapse, OK Construction was immediately shut down. And the town of Brookhaven enacted strict new safety standards regarding roads, bridges, and tunnels, as well as lifelong complimentary health care for the surviving tunnel people. In May of 1986, Brookhaven Brothers Loggers established a logging operation on the outskirts of town, cutting, processing, and transporting timber. It was a successful venture vital to the thriving Brookhaven paper industry, until one late spring morning when a truck overloaded with timber merged onto a busy roadway. Unbeknownst to the driver, the straps holding his excessive lumber load snapped, sending dozens of heavy logs at the helpless motorists behind him. The aftermath was devastating. Emergency crews rushed to the scene and set up a medical triage on site to quickly treat victims of the accident. Alas, the prognosis was dismal. 46 of the 54 examined that day would succumb to their injuries. Brookhaven Brothers loggers faced multiple wrongful death lawsuits due to their negligence in following safety protocol. Although they initially planned to plead not guilty using the Cherry Road defense, they ultimately took a plea bargain, absolving them from financial liability provided they shut down their logging operation and leave Brookhaven forever. It was a small victory for the families of the victims of the accident.